right, welcome back, folks. Before the break, we were taking a look at some of our logs and results and fixtures. In studio with me, Renzo Portman, Alistair Tace. Morgan Newman is in Portugal at the moment, I believe, playing some Legends rugby. We're looking forward to get him back next week. The guys, am I right, Alistair, do you know? Are they the guys on tour?
Yeah, that's a tournament that they're playing up in Portugal.
Portugal, all right. All right.
It's nice weather there.
Nice weather, I'm sure, yes. All right, folks, this was False Bay, St. George's, first half. Let's take a look. All right, there we go, folks. False Bay taking the lead at halftime against St. George's. St. George's, of course, traveling all the way from Gastro, long way to False Bay. Renzo, on a Saturday afternoon, I know the Lulu fans travel, but still, that's hard work.
That's a long way to travel to Kai, and obviously with, like you said earlier, it's the fan base, and False Bay got a fan base, so they were fully packed on that field. So I think it was half-half going onto that field when you're looking at the fans. But yeah, I think...
And you know, guys, I think that, if I'm not mistaken, the St. George's and False Bay women's rugby teams were also playing on the same day. So False Bay definitely had the fans there on the day.
It must have been a long day of rugby,
Yeah. Let's take a look at the second half. We'll be back. right, there we go. Final result going in False Bay's favour, and it was a win for False Bay. St George's, guys, tough day out in the park for St George's. But you know what? They've still got the rest of the season ahead of them. They're getting their home games out, their away games out of the way. And I think if we have to remind all the fans, you've still got to get to Gastro.
Yeah. Look, it's not easy playing at Gastro.
It's going to be a different story.
Yeah, but look, I've just spoken from experience of being in a position like that.
Yeah.
I was in this position last year.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's not easy to keep your players positive, keep your spectators positive, your management positive.
I think the big thing now for them is,
Yes, they got home games in hand, but they need to target certain games realistically
Yeah.
to stay up and try and survive, or try and get that playoff spot, so third from bottom. That's the reality for St George's at the moment.
All right, folks, let's go straight to some of the results then. In the Southern League, we see Rocklands 25-20 over Northerns. Watsonia with a big win over Retreat, 71-19. Titans went down to Visanta Kral, and then Young Wesley's with a win over Young Stars. In the City League, Silver Tree, 19-14 over Young Ideas. Manenberg Rangers went down to Elsies over the weekend. It was a win for Morningstar over Blue Jets. And then Silver Leaf went down to Police, or Blackheath as we now know them, 39-19. While in the Northern League, Wraithby with a win over Whistling Wheels, and Excelsior went down to Vintmill United. So some big results there for us over the weekend. Fantastic to see the City League, the Southern League, and of course the Northern Leagues playing some excellent rugby. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we've got our final segment, Helderberg and Tygerberg, and we'll also bring you your Score Energy Drinks winner in this week's competition. Back in a sec. Don't go away.